Alright, so I am going to make some racket for a second. I got to make sure that I can keep this thing in place while I actually do my video. So with everything being said and done, you should be able to see me from here. Hopefully it's not too crazy of a perspective, but you can kind of still see what I'm doing. So the first thing you want to do is just make sure that you have all of your equipment together. You know, I have my basic wall clippers. I've had these for a couple years and just bought new blades for these. You know, here's my main clipper. I really don't line too much with these, but I do fading and cutting with this. You can get brand new guards from your local Sally store or whatever health beauty supply stores in your area. So you want to make sure that your clippers are clean. You want to keep them oiled. You know, I don't oil every time I use these, but you can look at them and tell. And obviously, since I have newer blades, you don't have to do it every single time. So, you know, with that said and done, you know, most kits come with a small little brush like this, so you can brush out the small bristles of hair which tend to kind of obstruct the blades that are in your clippers. So you want to stop from time to time and clean out your clippers while you do that. Since I mentioned, like, my last haircut was a half that I did, and my hair has obviously grown since then. You want to pull out your blades, or your guards, I'm sorry, and these are your best tools for tapering and fading. And so I have my half here, and then I have my number one here, and you can always tell which blade you want to, or which guard you're going to want to use when you do a taper, just by taking it and using it like a comb. So just take it and you just want to lightly comb the area that you're going to be tapering, and it will give you a good picture as to which actual guard you would need to use. So with that said and done, you know, I'm going to go ahead and do it and move on to this other side. And if you look closely, you can see that with the number one, there's a small difference, and it may seem like it's not worth, like maybe it's not important to comb it with the half and the number one, but it is important because it will make the difference when you're actually cutting your hair. Now some cats, when they cut their hair, they actually don't use any blade at all when they do a taper or a fade, and that's actually very common. But if you have, it depends on your level of comfort, I guess, with your blades. You want to make sure that, you know, you just want to make sure that you have that you're comfortable using your clippers. All right, so we'll get started here in just a second. The next thing I'm going to do is pull out my mirror. Any barber that cuts his own hair needs to have one of these, and not a small one, because I had a small one for the longest. You want a big old wonderful big old mirror, and I got this from Sally Beauty. You can see that very clearly. It was only like $8, and this will leave you without any doubt when you're actually looking behind your head and trying to make sure you're getting every angle and everything right. So you always want to make sure you have that. Secondly, these Remington shaver is actually really helpful too. It actually, after you've combed everything, shaved everything off and got it lined up and square like you like, this actually does a great job of putting the finishing baby smooth touch on your skin. And it also is pretty good about not leaving as much agitation on the skin as would a normal clipper. So, you know, I got all my stuff in line here, and I just did the number one thing you don't want to do is drop your clippers, because these things can be very fragile and fall apart. So you want to make sure you're very careful with that. Alright, so with that all said and done, you know, we'll go ahead and get started, but I did want to just kind of give you a brief introduction. You want to brush your hair first, just depending on the length. Some guys like to comb it, but I like to brush my hair with a soft brush. I don't use hard brushes. It can be really hard on the follicles and the roots of your hair, and actually, it can actually work to pull hair out and make it difficult for your hair to grow like it should. So, you know, give it a good brush, especially the front area where you're going to be lining at, and then just move on to the back. Every guy knows their own brush pattern for their hair. You should know, you know, what direction to brush your hair in and able to get the wave pattern. You know, every cat has a different wave pattern. Every cat usually has a swirl right here, which is kind of difficult to cut. But it's just kind of trial and error. You have to learn, you know, what to do and how to do it. And you'll get better at it. It just takes practice. Just want to make sure we're working right here. Alright, so we're going to stick this back up here so I can get started.